Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Workspace Invaders. This is the show where we go through the workspaces of some of the Typeform users that have been really inspiring us of late. So today we're going to be talking to a wonderful man called Jordan Bartlett. Now he's the co-founder of an organization called Doing Good Works. So Doing Good Works is an organization that was founded with the noble idea of reimagining how a business can operate. It focuses on helping young people who are aging out of the foster care system by providing them with the tools and skills and the mindset that they need to reach their full potential. And this kind of came about through personal circumstances that Jordan was kind of going through, and he'll explain a little bit more about the background to that in a second. Now, the organization itself has many layers. Today, we'll be focusing on a couple of them. The first one is its merch fulfillment system, which is called DGW branded, and Typeform has been helping a lot there. Likewise with its coaching and development program, which is called Foster Greatness. Again, Typeform's been used in a really ingenious way there, along with other no-code solutions. So here's just a quick summary of what we're going to be covering. So we're going to, as I mentioned, kind of hear from Jordan about the motivation behind Doing Good Works and where that came from. Then we're going to talk about a bit about the challenges that they faced during the pandemic and how they pivoted using Typeform and other tools. So we'll look at the order flow that they built using Typeform and Zapier and ShipStation, which is their fulfillment tool. And then we're going to dive into kind of the second element, which is that coaching and development program, and how Typeform and Airtable and a cool app that I'd not heard before called Softer have been helping there. So without further ado, let's rewind back to our chat. And here's Jordan explaining how the organization came about.
The business was really founded as a way to generate revenue and resources for young people aging out of foster care. So I mentioned earlier I was adopted. I had a sibling who didn't get adopted, and her and I met when I was 19. And I didn't know anything about her when I met her. She came up to me on my college campus and said, "I'm your sister." And we got to know her, and she had a very different life. She was in and out of the foster care system in Florida. She had overcome addiction. She'd been incarcerated, just had a lot of barriers that I didn't even think about. So I started to do a little bit of research and saw that her outcome was much more common than it should be. And at the time, I was working in the insurance industry and didn't love insurance. So I quit one day with no plan. I just knew I wanted to help people aging out of foster care and see if we could change the statistics. And also didn't know anything about nonprofit. So I couldn't bring a whole lot of value to a nonprofit because I didn't know anything about it. So me and my business partner just looked at each other and said, let's sell something and help some kids. So we had a few different iterations of the business, but we landed on branded merchandise. And the idea was, you're already buying, water bottles, T-shirts, business cards, all of these things with your logo on them. If you buy them from us, we can take that revenue and go, take on the housing crisis or, overcome transportation barriers and just help young people that are aging out of the system to have success when they do age out. That was 2014. So the first 6 years went really well, and it was a lot of bulk orders. So somebody would come to us and say, "I need 10,000 shirts, and you can send them to my office headquarters because we've got an event this weekend." And we would print the shirts, ship them out there, and they would then disperse to all their employees who are in the office. So March 13th, 2020, that world changed drastically. One thing, events got canceled. There were no more events. There was no more giveaways. And all of the employees dispersed. So our clients faced a new issue of how do we stay connected to these employees that are no longer in the office. They're now dispersed. And how do we kind of create, a sense of belonging, get them branded merchandise, things like that. So we put a landing page together for one of our customers, and it was a very basic contact form, and let employees go onto that contact form, put in their shipping address and information. And we realized we'd be able to then hire young people that have been impacted by foster care in our warehouse, bring all the product in-house, kit it up, and then drop ship it to thousands of locations across the world.
So yeah, as Jordan mentions, ingenuity was called for, as it was for a lot of businesses during the pandemic. And he turned to Typeform for the solution. And we're going to hear a bit more about how that all came about now, and how he actually went about kind of transforming the business.
So the first iteration wasn't great. So I did some research, and I think I found it on another website. I used a form that was just a really nice form, and it was a Typeform. So I logged on to Typeform, and we started building Typeforms for all of our customers and saying, you can give your employees, swag bags. You can give them, they can pick what they want. It can be really customized. We have all kinds of options with this new tool. And we'll take all the information, we'll kit it up and ship it out, and all of your employees will have a really cool experience using it. So that we were in a bad place during COVID as a business, just because everything had stopped. Yeah. And this gave us a completely new pivot and way to support our customers in order to keep employees connected, because it was really difficult. People were on Zoom, they're still learning Zoom, but there was no real connection to the business that they worked for. And this really helped our customers stay connected, deliver a really cool experience, and keep the business top of mind, because they could deliver. I'm at home now. I've got coffee mugs everywhere, and so it kept the business that they were working for top of mind, in a really, really new normal state of how the world was.
Yeah.
So Typeform was huge in that transition of delivering that experience for all of our customers. The other thing it did, it let us, because the look of Typeform is what it is, it really allowed us to go after higher level customers, because we had a really cool experience that was different than everybody else. So in the second half of 2020, we brought on several national accounts, because they were the ones hurting the most, because they had the most employees that got dispersed. And we could call them and say, we've got a solution that's a little bit different. Here's the presentation, here's what it looks like. And we were very fortunate through COVID to be able to pivot the way we did and have a new solution. We were at a point where we were thinking, layoffs and things like that, and we didn't have to lay anybody off. We hired some more people. We were fortunate, and that people love that. Even though people are coming back to the office, Typeform still gives them a really customized option. So even if we ship everything to the office, they can still decide if they want a backpack or a shirt or whatever it is. So there's still a very personalized experience for customers. So even though things have started to go back to an office, Typeform continues to be a differentiator for us on the business side.
So now Jordan's going to explain a little bit more about how the solution actually works. And like many people, he uses Zapier or Zapier, I'm still not sure which to call it, to kind of manage this. And he pushes the data he collects on behalf of the businesses from Typeform through to a tool called ShipStation, which is what they use for fulfilling the orders and getting them out. So here we go. Here he's going to explain a bit more about the secret sauce behind this solution.
The decision maker at the business will email out the link to every employee and say, fill this out to get your kit. The employees will go on, fill out the Typeform. We'll take all of that information in it. We use Zapier to push it directly into ShipStation. So it goes into ShipStation, and I put together a little time-lapse video of the warehouse. And it goes into the warehouse. They print a packing slip, and they start packing kits, and we've got a little conveyor belt, and we kind of just set it up all on the fly in 2020. And it still works, and it's created job opportunities for people that need it. So it's gotten smoother, I'll say. But the overall Typeform to ship to Zapier to ShipStation has been kind of consistent. So this would be one that we'd send out the link, and this would be what the employee would see. So they could opt out. They could pick if they want a fleece hoodie on that one. You can put in their size. You can pick from a journal. And then this one had seed packets, which were actually very popular when everyone was working from home and had their own garden. And then the employee would put in all of their shipping information.
It's a really nice design, this one, by the way. But obviously, these are all custom designed to match the brand, right?
Yeah, we've got a really good designer on staff that does these for us. This is just all the shipping information. And then this goes Zapier to ShipStation. And then they all put it together. That's our California. Yeah. So they get they've got a computer in there, and labels start printing out, and packing slips, and they kit it up and ship it out.
Wow, that's amazing. So they would kind of get the alert as soon as the Typeform comes in, and literally just respond to it.
Depends on the program. Some of them will be like they want to get all of their employees signed up, and then we do it all at once. Others are on demand. So as they come in, we might ship it out 3 times a week. So we'll still batch them a little bit, but it'll be more often.
Yeah. So
it could be like if it's a new hire kit, they might send us a list of like 6 people that they hired that week. And we'll ship all those out together, and that'll be a weekly thing. Or it could be, we're doing a Christmas gift, and here's all of our employees. So we would send them all out at once.
So that's kind of the business side of doing good works, and how that works, the kind of merch fulfillment, and how they're helping businesses kind of connect with their employees, which is great. But they weren't kind of content to stop there. And now Jordan's going to explain a little bit more about their mentoring program called Foster Your Greatness.
So in 2020, end of 2022, I guess the second half of 2022, we put together a mentoring program called the Foster Greatness Masterclass. And the idea behind that was to have, they're called coaches and coachees. So a coach would have 5 coachees, 5 to 8 coachees, and together they would go through a 16-week course, and each week would be a different learning activity. So the first few weeks are really focused internally. So things like identity and emotional intelligence and growth mindset, all of those things. And the coachee would go through a learning activity, which we put onto Typeform, and they would fill out their responses on, articles that they read or videos that they watched or content that we delivered to them. Those responses would go to a coachee, and that coach would be also somebody that has lived experience in the foster care system. So the term we're using is a credible messenger. And then they could have a conversation about those responses. How does identity show up in your life? How do you think about it? All of those types of things. And that coach can kind of guide the coachee through those 16 weeks using the feedback from the learning activities. So Typeform on that one is pretty unique because of the layout of Typeform, very distraction free. Sometimes when, you've grown up in trauma and the impact trauma has on your brain, it can, I don't know the scientific wording for this, but if you have a lot of stuff on screen, it's really hard to focus and concentrate. So Typeform on that side was really the solution because of the clean layout. It made all of the content much more accessible. So we're on our second cohort now, and some of the data from the first cohort was really cool. There's obviously we do surveys for them, like what was your understanding of identity, week 1 versus week 16, and the progress on all of those things was really positive. But there are also things like a couple of the people that went through the course went back to get their GED. We had one guy that never got his driver's license, and after going through that program, he went and got his driver's license. And then we did a end of cohort kind of party because it is remote to some degree. So we got everybody together at the end, and it was really cool to see coachees want to be coaches, and then coachees also come back for a second time to be coachees again because they love the experience and wanted to be part of it again. So the short-term data was all really good, and the idea is to kind of keep using Typeform to gather that data in a longer time frame as well. But the goal is to start tracking what career access looks like. Do they go on and have a career? How long does that last? Is it something they want to do? So within all of those, there's 8 domains that it's really focused on, and it's like career, education, financial literacy. So the goal is to get some long-term data on that and see what the outcomes are. But the relationship part is what is really cool to see them interact and really get a lot out of that coachy role, both coaches and the coachees.
Pretty good, right? So part of the success of the mentoring program and kind of how those relationships have developed between mentors and mentees has been the solution that Jordan and the team kind of created to actually deliver the coaching. And that's based around Typeform, Airtable, and Softer, which is kind of a web building platform that I'd not heard of before speaking to Jordan, but looks pretty cool. So he's going to show us the form that they use now in the mentoring program, and then talk a bit about how these integrations help them too.
So this is what the coachee will see. So they'll start here and just go through the week. I'll do a guest. Email addresses if anybody wants to get in touch. And then we'll kind of we actually deliver the content through Typeform as well. So it is the full system.
Cool.
So they'll kind of go through this, and it is pretty lengthy, so we don't have to go through all of it. But they'll get links out to different pieces of content. They can read it in here.
Oh, nice. You've used the layouts.
Yeah. Yeah, it is just a good look.
Did you, just out of interest, did you build this somewhere else first and then like transfer it all into Typeform, or did you work directly into Typeform from the start?
Yeah, our first cohort used Typeform as well. So yeah, and it's all built into Typeform. We have a Notion database just to have the content in another place, but it was all put into Typeform and then just backed up in Notion. So like here they'll be able to watch the video, and then they'll have some questions, and they can then how they feel, things like that. So all of that then, as they go through it, gets put into, for this one, it gets put into Airtable.
Okay.
Do you want me to go through that?
Yeah, if you could show it, that would be amazing. I love Airtable.
Yeah, it's the first time using it, so I'm still getting used to it, but I really enjoy it. So like this is week 1. So I was just going through week 2. So I'll pull up week 2. So this is all of the data, and then we break it down by the individual coaches as well. So all of it will come in here, and we're still building some of the content out. So all 16 weeks will end up in here. And then we actually, to give the coaches access to their coachees' responses, we've pushed Airtable into the Softer app, Softr.
Okay.
So the coach will come here. So Amber is one of our coaches. Here's your coachee data, and they can see everybody that's filled out the type form. That's one of their coachees. And if they want to see all the answers, they can click on it. and they'll get all the answers here.
Oh, that's cool. That's neat. So is that being done through Zapier as well?
This is direct from Airtable to Softer.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so it uses Airtable as its database.
Yeah.
And then the director has access to all of the data here, so she'll see everybody's.
Oh, that's very cool.
So, and then once it's finished, the goal is to keep using that data for obviously longer term studies and things like that. But that's kind of the workflow as it's set up now.
So, as you can see, Doing Good Works is really living up to its name. And I asked Jordan how they're planning to expand from here. He told me they've got like 29, I think, staff members at the moment. But the plan is to really kind of accelerate and help even more people.
We got 3 out here in Texas, and the majority are in California. The Texas location is actually a live workspace. So the two guys that work there also live on site. So that's kind of the expansion goal, is to find these work live spaces, and there's a little print shop in the garage. So they can print t-shirts and name badges and like banners and signs and stickers. So anytime we get short run orders, if it's like 10 shirts, we'll print it in-house, and it's kind of our going to be our workforce development program. So there's the warehouse work, which is kitting and shipping, but also another program that's printing t-shirts and printing name badges and things like that. So we're hoping to get some more of those locations. So and as that disperses a little bit and we've got different locations, I think using Typeform even internally to keep everybody on the same page will be important.
So we were really blown away by what Jordan and the team there are doing, not just with the Typeform solution, but just the whole kind of philosophy and the way that they're using these programs to help people that are kind of aging out of the foster care system and that maybe don't have the opportunities that other people might have. So great work, Jordan, and your team, and we're very humbled that you've chosen to come and talk to us. It was a great pleasure to kind of hear what you're doing. So with that, we are just about done. I'd like to encourage you to check out some of the websites for Doing Good Work. So this is the kind of the branded merch site that we mentioned. And here is the Foster Greatness program that they're running. So yeah, have a look, and yeah, I'm sure you'll be blown away by what's going on there. So yep, thanks again, Jordan. And just finally, just a reminder that you can find more of these Workspace Invaders episodes in the case studies section of the community. There's tons of them there. You can go in and check them out at your leisure. We also have a Video Ask Voyagers section there. So if you're using Video Ask, then you can kind of get case studies there too. So that's it. Thank you very much for joining us again on Workspace Invaders. We'll see you next time when we will be swooping in on